Brady. This is going to be exciting.
And the guy restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
We are 5 races in. We're here at the road course of Watkins Glen. 5 races in. As I said, we have one winner. Jeremy Gardner has won 3 races so far. James Silvers being the only other race winner. Can anybody have anything for these drivers here tonight at Watkins Glen? I think you're going to see an exciting show, and I believe that will happen. And we're going to watch it all right now on the Crusin's Classic Next Gen Cup Series at Go Locker Racing right here on B-Speed, your #1 source of online race coverage. I'll get through that. I am Ken Huber. I'm joined with Eddie Smith. He's doing double duty, also producing the show tonight. And of course, as always, our cameras are being provided by Dougie Beard. Well, welcome back, Eddie. We did this last night at Road Course, and we're doing it here again tonight.
I can't think of anywhere else to be than right here in the Next Gen Premier Series on a road course. It's going to be a great show tonight. Can't wait to see who comes out on top, who kind of surprises us. These road courses always bring out the SVGs, and so it'll be nice to see kind of who has got that road course prowess, who can maybe lock themselves into the playoffs. It's always a good time, if you're good at road courses, to lock yourself in, so we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, and road courses, just like plate racing, you never know who is going to come on top and secure that championship bid. But, Gardner's been strong all season, and this might be where we see him falter. But when you're looking at Watkins Glen right now, this is a track that's actually made for stock car racing for a road course. It's a really nice setup, 2.5-mile track, 7 turns. It's extremely fast. There's a lot of grip here. You can really wield a stock car around this place.
Yeah, it's got no hairpins, no crazy sections that make it very frustrating to drive through, like Coda and the stock car is very frustrating to drive. But Watkins Glen, like you said, it's squared off. It's got a big carousel, and of course the bus stop is something that we'll talk about all night tonight. The guys trying to get through there, get woed up, go side by side. But it just puts on great racing. It's got the speed that I think you need in a stock car. Sonoma is very slow almost. You're really just fighting the elevation changes. But here at Watkins Glen, you can really go side by side. You can really be aggressive and race really hard. And I think that's why we love Watkins Glen. Of course, we're at the non-boot version, so it's just an easier layout. It's perfect for stock cars, like you said, and it's always a good show. Everybody, even the oval guys, show up for road courses when it's Watkins Glen. So tonight's going to be a great show. Can't wait to see who comes out on top, who kind of survives here. Turn 1's always going to be sort of a question mark when you come to one of these road courses, Ken.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about, turn one. But I got to hand it to the Goat Locker guys. They've been getting through. We've had a lot of difficult tracks, both in the road course series and in the stock car series. Everybody's been really doing good with the turn one issues, but you never know. You see them go 3-4 wide going into turn one here at Watkins Glen. And then, of course, you got to worry about the tires locking up. These cars obviously don't have ABS. So, you have one guy towards the back that locks up those rear tires. Could send a lot of cars flying into turn one. But like I said, it's been some really good racing here. And tonight, I expect nothing less.
Let's say we jump into the grid and give out that Jam Printing Promotions Pole Award. What do you say, Ken?
I think that might be a good idea. So Jam Printing and Promotion, since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed to printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. And look at that. Speaking of somebody doing good in the community, our pole award goes to Patrick Drabick. He's sitting up front tonight. He's going to lead him down to the green flag. And then alongside him, he's going to have, there you go, previous race winner there, Jeremy Gardner. Starting in third, look at that, Logan Threlkeld in the 30 machine. And on his outside, we'll have Cody Anderson. Cody Anderson, just as note, had the fastest practice time out there, so extremely fast driver. James Silver's another one of those race winners in the number 4 machine. Will start on the inside. Ryan Pendleton on his outside. Wesley Burke in the 04 will start on the inside in P7, while Sammy Yosef starts on the outside P8. Jacob Ellingson will start P9, and Barrett Morton will start P10.
In 11th, we got Chance Taylor with Brian Provo in that 12th position. In 13th, Corinne Smith with Levi McCarty in 14th. 15th, going to be Jamie Lipke with Daniel Cunningham in that 16th spot, with Charles Zabert and Michael Jones in 18th. 19th is Tyler Evans with James Kaufman, rounded out your top 20.
Bobby Bender will start P21 with Chuck Feltz starting P22. Ashton Asaro Nolan will start P23 with Jason Taylor starting P24 on his outside. And then rounding out your 25-car field will be Douglas Macedo starting in that 25th position. Well, Eddie, I was, as we were going through the names there's a lot of good road course. And, you mentioned it, talk about these oval drivers and how they love, you can always expect to see them at Watkins Glen, but just looking through the field there's a lot of good road course racers. We see them in the GT3 class and in the GTP class on other nights of the week, and they're out here stock car racing. So I think we're going to see quite a show.
I think so. I think it's going to be a lot of fun as they're getting ready to roll off. We're going to get a full pace lap in this thing. I'm looking at some drivers that I expect to see up at the front. Patrick Drabick, Jeremy Garner seem to be up front most of the time, but it's good to see Logan Threlkeld up there. Cody Anderson, like you said, James Silver's a little surprised to see him be this fast at a road course. Never really seen him at a road course, so I guess I'm learning today as he seems to be pretty dang quick. And Ryan Pendleton is somebody that I always expect to be up there up front. So there's a lot of folks. Samuel Yosef, I'm interested to see if he can come away with a top 5 or something like that. And then looking towards the back of the field, somebody who can come up through the field, Levi McCarty and Daniel Cunningham for sure, and Jamie Lipke, who's been really, really good at road course racing here lately. So some guys and gals in the back that could find their way to the front. But with the way this race works, for only 40 laps, there's no cautions. I don't think I've ever seen a caution thrown in a GLR road course. They're manual cautions, usually local, as far as what iRacing would throw. So I think it's all about, getting started, getting out away from folks, kind of get into your pace and start trying to get into a groove a little bit. And then the all-important pit stop about halfway is something that you'll be making sure that you try to nail just right. Pit stop's a little bit different, Ken. You normally coming in on the left side. You got to come in on the right side. Some folks, I don't know if they can handle that. So we'll see. But no fast repair as always, and 4 tire sets, which I don't think we'll use those at all.
No, we shouldn't be using 4 sets of tires here. In fact, you got a pit window of about 32 to 35 laps in these cars. So usually it's only one stop unless they have an accident and they slide those tires and flat spot them out. Need to go in there and get a tire change, but that's really going to set you back if you have to do that. But I expect a lot of good, hard racing here tonight. You mentioned James Silver's there. He won that first race at Daytona this season. And usually, a Daytona is one of those races where anybody can win. And usually it's somebody that we haven't seen before win up there. But, Silver's has been strong all season. Doesn't matter what track we go to. But just want to bring that to everybody's attention. I'm going to keep my eye on that 4-car all night long. He's starting P5. But right now, we are about to drop the green flag here at Watkins Glen. Pace car is pulling off pit lane. And we're going to send them green flag racing, and they're away. Green flag is down. Patrick Drabick leading Jeremy Gardner down the front stretch. And it looks like, it looks like they get single file there. The top 3, Logan Threlkeld drops in behind. And then you can see everybody fan out 3-4 wide back there.
Yeah, just a little bit of tire smoke, but everybody cleared through turn 1. As they go up through the S's. Such a fun section of the track, a little bit nerve-wracking if you're not careful. And I tell you what, that's where you can have some major issues going up through that S. If you bounce off the wall there, you can come across the track. We've seen some pretty gnarly wrecks in real life in the S's. And so tonight, be watching for that if you have any accidents. Although I do think we had an accident. Chuck Phelps is doing exactly that, sitting backwards up the S's, trying to get this thing turned around. So... and he's not able to get this thing going. Let's see what happened to him. Going up through the S's, and Corinne Smith sitting backwards on the track, and that's exactly what I was saying, kid. It could just completely block the track up.
Yeah, we didn't catch it live there, and I was looking for it too, but some very good race cars already. There's no quick repairs here too, so that might end a lot of drivers' nights here as we get the first lap in the books. Drabick will get that first lap led. He's got Gardner all over the back of him, but don't look now. Logan Threlkeld back there having a very fun. Got a car sideways.
Cody Anderson. Cody Anderson gets a little bit sideways. He kind of dumps the tires off into that outside pavement. And when you do that, boy, it just gets a little wild, and he just comes around. Cold tires still. They haven't gotten a couple laps. They really need to get those tires up to temperature and before you start trying to push the pedal a little bit. And he got a little bit too aggressive with it, and he's going to fall all the way back to 18th position after that.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to be careful, especially with these cars. They're very hooked up here on this track for a stock car, as you would say. About as hooked up as you can be for a stock car, but you get it up on the curb, you have to wait for that suspension to stop bouncing around before you pick up the throttle. And I think that might have been what happened to Cody there as we go through the final turn 7 here. Patrick Drabick continuing to lead this thing. This is lap number 2 here. And you can see everybody single file there. And James Silver's in that green and white car you just seen flash by there. The only other race winner here this season other than Jeremy Gardner. So still, that cat's looking strong here on a road course.
100%. Tell you a little update on the drivers that are out now. Chuck Phelps going to be out of this one. Charles Abert out of this one. Corinne Smith and Douglas Macedo all out of the race, or at least sitting on pit road trying to get that damage fixed. I don't think we'll see Chuck quit. I think he'll just sit it out, wait it out, get back out on track. But such a bummer on lap 1. He didn't even get a full lap, and some of these folks sitting in pit road with a lot of damage. So just the nature, you don't normally see that. You normally think of it's going to happen in turn 1, but the S's can just be, if somebody makes a small mistake, and we talked about it, you get sideways in that section, you really just nothing you can do at that point. So just real bummer to see that for those guys and gals.
Yeah, as you were rattling off the names there, Eddie, I was noticing a trend there. Almost everybody's name except for Douglas started with a C, so I was like, oh, it's a bad luck. If your name starts with a C, your night's ended early there. But we've got everything sorted out. Kind of looking at the 04 machine there go by of Wesley Burke back there in that orange and black machine. Wesley Burke actually been really strong on road courses. Go ahead there, Eddie. I'm sorry, that's we're doing the same thing we were doing last night. Wesley Burke now looking to the inside, headed towards the bus stop there. Going to think better of it for now. Wesley Burke's got Ryan Pendleton just ahead. And you can see that green car there of Silver's. So got a little 3-car battle going on there, although the field hasn't completely stretched out. Now, I'm sorry there, Eddie. I'm going to let you talk.
Well, it's fine. I like hearing you talk, so it's totally fine with me. Most of the time when I talk, just nothing comes out that's any kind of importance. But Ryan Pendleton has been trying to make a move here on Silvers. Got close a couple times, had to back off, and it kind of opened the door for Wesley Burke to maybe make a move. But Ryan Pendleton, if there's somebody that I think, I would put all – if I had my whole paycheck, somebody said you got to put it on somebody outside the top 5 to get up there and maybe have a chance to win it, it's going to be the 23 of Ryan Pendleton. I think he can definitely get it done. He's so good at road courses. The other driver that I would maybe consider would be Brian Provo, although he seems to be a little bit too far back to be able to make it up to the front. So I don't know if Provo is going to be able to do it, but Ryan Pendleton definitely has the talent to do it. But I'm also interested right behind him, Wesley Burke. Wesley Burke is, he's not going to give you much in an interview. He's pretty quiet, tight, but he has been really, really fast this last couple seasons. Have been really kind of surprised. I've gone toe-to-toe with Joseph McWhorter and Mark Whitley in the Sunday Night Series and even the ARCA Series. Got a lot of talent in that 04 machine, so I would expect to see him make it up towards the front. Right now, they're all within 2 seconds of your leader, Patrick Dravick, and everybody running very similar lap times, so kind of everybody under a blanket.
Yeah, and Wesley Burke, I was going to mention that too. Wesley Burke, very strong on the road courses, which was kind of surprising to me until we started coming out to the road courses. So that driver looking solid out there. Pendleton there in our title sponsor, the Crusin Classics machine in that Mustang, like you said, currently running in 5th. So hats off to Crusin Classics there, running that nice paint scheme as we're looking at Patrick Dravick now coming under a little bit of pressure from Gardner, just a couple car lengths back there behind him, going down the backstretch, headed towards the bus stop. They do have Douglas Macedo, who's involved in that first incident in the S's, really slow as they go into the bus stop there. And it looks like Macedo just gets off the track, doesn't want to hamper anybody's forward progress there, and lets most of the field go by. But Dravick continues to still lead this thing as they go through the carousel.
Yeah, catching lap traffic in the bus stop is a very stressful experience, just because a lot of times if they're a lot slower, they're struggling in the bus stop where you're trying to carry as much speed as you can. There's a lot of speed to carry. As you can see, Ryan Pendleton now get to the inside there on that particular corner, not going to be on the outside, although I do like being on the outside right here. You get a lot of drive down into turn 1. You can see the run that he does get. So if you're going to go to the outside, that was the perfect setup. I don't know if Silver's is going to be able to go back on the attack into 1. Nope. Looks like Ryan Pendleton is up to 4th. Already 2 spots gained since the drop of the green flag, as he does get a little squirrely there.
That was that curb action that I was talking about. You get up on that curb, you got to really let that suspension settle down before you get on the gas. And it almost bit Pendleton, and we've seen that incident earlier tonight with gosh, who was that? That was one of our top drivers had that incident there. I can't even remember now. That was
Cody Anderson went around.
Cody Anderson, that's who it was. Yep.
And he's already had another issue because he is down on pit road getting some damage fixed, it looks like. So Cody Anderson going from bad to worse.
0 to 0.
Yep. So bummer. I mean, that's why I love this next gen series, though, and I love the Premier Series. I love the no fast repairs. Fast repairs, everybody likes them because it gives you a chance to have get caught up in someone else's mess and all that kind of jazz. I get it, but there's something about having that fast repair that makes you drive a little bit different. When you don't have it, you have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, and it just makes the racing a little bit better. Everybody's just kind of on edge, and when people wreck out and they leave the track, it's kind of like how it should be in real life. You wreck, you go to you're out. So if you're a menace out there, you get wrecked one time, you're out of there. So I like no fast repairs. So you got to be careful with the car. You got to make good decisions. You can't make wild moves, wild dives into like the bus stop. You got to make your passes at a good time. And you can see everybody having a lot of patience. Wesley Burke all over James Silvers, but showing some restraint. Oh, somebody's through. Ryan Pendleton goes through the grass.
Well, he didn't do a pass in the grass. We're going to go back and take a look, see exactly what happened here. Might have overshot that bus stop a little bit there. We're watching Pendleton go up the hill through the S's, and this is going to happen later on in the bus stop here, Eddie. You can see,
Yeah,
I
he's
think
gonna
he just
get a slowdown for this for sure. Oh, he turns in a little bit too early, bounces it off that. I mean, that's a hell of a gate right there. That's not a safer barrier. That's a, I don't know. That's a one that'll hurt you. And so he got some damage to that car and had obviously a slowdown as well. And you can see it's affecting his car because here comes Wesley Burke. James Silvers has already made that pass, but that was a hard hit to that inside wall.
Yeah, he had to give up that position to Silvers, who he worked so diligently to get by earlier. Now he's going to have to
Chance
reset.
Taylor around, does a 360 and walks away. You know why they call it an Xbox 360, Ken?
Yeah. That sounds like that's about it. Take a chance, and Chance Taylor will tell you.
Yeah, you just do a 360 and you walk away when you see it. Let's go watch that again. Watch it on board. He's going into turn one. Don't know if he just overcooked it or he got some help. No, just overcooked it into the corner. Oh, he does get a little bit, but then right where we've seen it, that back end unloads, and boy, that car is gone. So a little bit of damage there, but it looks like he's able to continue.
Well, like I said, with the pit stop window is going to be about 32 to 35 laps. So that means after about 18 laps, I'm thinking we have 50 laps. We only have 40 laps. So here in another few laps, if Pendleton does have damage to that car, you can see Wesley Burke working all over the back of him. He'll be able to come in shortly, get that car, maybe get the fender beat out on it or fix that little bit of suspension damage. And I actually do see a little bit of damage on the fender. So when he popped up, it looks like there is a little bit there. Maybe it's just a new design on these Cup cars, but thought there was a little bit damage. But now Wesley Burke is going to go by on the entrance to the S's there. So Wesley Burke moved that driver up a position.
I mean, he definitely has damage. He's dropping quite a few spots. I mean, he's already lost James Silvers for a while. Been holding up Wesley Burke. So there's obviously some damage there on that 23 machine, but he's going to do the best he can to nurse it. But yeah, you can see it's pushed in quite a bit. I mean, that was a hard hit. Just turned in a little bit too early on that bus stop, but that's what you have to do to make it. Is Levi McCarty is also off track. So this track and car combo is starting to kind of spit them out here. Take a look at the weather. The track temp's fine. I was expecting to see maybe 130 degrees or something the way these guys are driving, but should be gripped up nicely. I think these guys are just taking some chances trying to get that extra speed. Of course, Ken, you could talk a little bit about that, about what it takes to be fast on a road course. It is, 2 or 3 tenths here, every other corner, every half corner, it all adds up.
Yeah, that's right. You got to focus on your exits more importantly. And these cars, I mentioned to you prior to the broadcast, these cars are a little tight. Last week we were in the trucks, and those trucks, as you mentioned, are loose. 23 is around. Pendleton goes around in the S's, tags the wall as I was talking there. So more troubles for that. That machine is definitely beat up now at this point there, Eddie.
Yeah, that's a junkyard piece right there, as he's going to pull it off the track and just call it quits. Such a bummer to see that happen, but obviously trying to drive with that damage. We're going to see what happened to him right here. And you can see he's way offline, just trying to make it work. Oh, and it just comes around. Maybe a little bit out of frustration. It's not normal that you see him kind of make that kind of mistake, so I don't know if he was just frustrated with how badly that car was driving. But Ryan Pendleton, another casualty tonight.
Yeah, anyway, getting back to what I was talking about with road course racing, these cars are a little bit tighter than the trucks were last week. So other than when you go over the curb, that's where you got to be really careful as you're watching. Drabick is going to lose that position. As soon as we brought the camera on there, Eddie does exactly what I was talking about. He's trying to fight back now. Gardner now on the inside as they go up through the S's. They're going to be side by side, headed down through the bus stop.
Oh,
they got
3
a
wide.
car that they're dealing with.
And here comes Logan Threlkeld, going to try to make a little piece out of this. He sees an opportunity, got to jump, but Patrick Drabick holds off really well there. After that almost mistake, he knows that being out front is way too important. You cannot give it up.
Yeah, and having that clean air up on the nose of that car for Patrick Drabick is what he wants to see. He is probably hoping right now that Threlkeld will get up there and start battling Gardner. But look at who else is in this mix. You got Silvers back up there in that 4th position. Silvers, all these cars now are under a blanket.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I've been watching somebody else, and not to keep jumping around too much, but Brian Provo, he is one of the biggest movers of the night. Him and Daniel Cunningham, he is up from 12th to 7th. I just said I didn't think he was going to be able to make it up there towards the front, but him and James Silvers are the fastest 2 cars on the track at the moment. So you can see he's all over the back bumper of the 27 of Jacob Ellingson, and Ellingson's going to tail slap him as they go through the S's, but Provo's going to get that spot. So I didn't think Provo was going to make it to the front, but I'm going to tell you what, Ken, he is moving right now.
And I'm so glad that Ellingson was able to get that car saved and we didn't see Provo get taken out, because I've seen Provo have some really bad luck at some of these road course races, especially in the stock car. Just a victim just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that almost was the case with the 27 car there of Jacob Ellingson. But he was able to navigate that, get through that, and now set his sights on the next car of Wesley Burke, though. Man, that car is moving, though. Brian Provo certainly looks good out there tonight.
Yeah, he's 7.5 seconds back from the lead, so he's got a lot of work to do, but he's got a lot of clean air now and clean track, so he can really start to put down some laps. But as I watch James Silvers get to the back bumper of Logan Threlkeld, we didn't know really how James Silvers would do tonight, and he kind of started off backing it up a little bit, losing a couple spots, but has been roaring back the last few laps. That time, a little bit slower, but he's got Logan Threlkeld right in front of him. All front, we'll take a look at your last lap times. You could kind of see 10.5 there, 10.5 for Gardner and Dravick, 10.8 for Threlkeld, 10.6 for Silver. So all those drivers sort of are right around each other in lap time. So they keep trading it off back and forward, just depending on who makes a mistake where. And it seems like the cars are kind of a little bit squirrely, a little bit nervous here tonight.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Like I said, for me, it was the curbs when I was out there testing that was my biggest problem, and the car likes to push out. But you're watching our top 2 drivers. Looking at the rear bumper there of Patrick Dravick there, as you can see his in-car camera there, solely focused on keeping Gardner behind him. You know, as long as these guys are racing hard like this, that's only going to help guys like Wesley Burke and Brian Provo back there trying to run these guys down. So both those drivers would like to see these top 4 really get up there and start tangling and start messing with those lap times. But right now they are blistering out there. And then you can see right behind them, you've got that battle between Logan Threlkeld and Silvers. So the top 2 are starting to separate between the second 2, which is 3rd and 4th, as they climb back up the hill. Dravick was so lucky to hang on to that position after getting onto those curbs and really getting that car upset. But I think he's learned his lesson and probably won't do that again.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to make mistakes in races in a stock car at a road course, but, you know, it's about how you deal with it. You let it get you flustered and get all kind of out of whack and need a couple laps to get back going. But Patrick did not do that. He got it wrapped up and fought to hang on to that position. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, you really got to be careful about where you battle. You know, I see Silvers being a little bit faster than Threlkeld here, but kind of riding behind, not really taking any dives, because you go up there and you battle side by side, all it does is lose time, like almost immediately, because you can run side by side at this track for a few turns, but running side by side here would just be a detrimental thing to do. So, you know, Jeremy Garner doesn't need to get up here and really take the lead if he doesn't feel like he's, you know, a good bit faster than Dravick, which it doesn't seem like he is. He just needs to keep him right in front of him. He needs to make sure he doesn't let it get away as Logan Threlkeld goes around, makes contact with Silvers. Big damage for the 30. Oh, no! And Wesley Burke runs into the back of him. Burke is sideways in the S's as cars are coming up through there.
Provo's in the grass right now trying to avoid all that. Oh, God.
Oh, and then, oh, my gosh. Ellingson in the wall as Wesley Burke pulls back out on the track. And, oh, my gosh. Unbelievable what happened there. There's a lot going on there, Ken.
There was more than I could handle right now. Wesley Burke there, we're looking back at the replay there.
Same thing that happened.
Logan Threlkeld, yeah, getting on those curbs, getting the car upset. Silver's going to have a lot of damage on that machine. He was running so well. But obviously a lot of damage to Threlkeld, and then add insult to injury. Wesley Burke comes up there, nowhere to go, slams in the back of Threlkeld. Now, watch. Oh, I was going to say, Provo goes through the grass, avoiding both Ellingson and Burke. So Provo able to keep theirs. Ellingston having his issue as we ride on board with him. Yeah, just wow, what a change of events here.
That was unbelievable. That is a wild watch from Provo's point of view as he's trying to dodge a couple different cars. You see Threlkeld there in the grass. Provo says, you know, you forget the maintenance guys. I'm just going to go on and drive right through it. And holy moly, that was a crazy and great job by Samuel Joseph getting through that. So, man, some race-winning cars gone in just one half of a turn. Those S's have been a nightmare for some of these drivers tonight. And I just saw how quickly that can happen. You know, we talked about it early part of the race. If you have a wreck right there, it's impossible to see what's coming up sometimes. You got the elevation change, and then the way that the corners are sort of blind until you see somebody sitting sideways on the track. Again, you know as well as I do that in the S's, it's all about hitting that line perfectly. So if you have to go offline, the car just does not react like you want it to.
Yeah, and what you're seeing, what these drivers are hearing, their spotters are telling them, hey, there's a wreck in front, but you can't see it. And so what you're doing is you're trying to slow up just enough where you might be able to avoid it, but you don't want to slow up to where you're stopping on the track, right? Because you don't know what's coming. Like you said, it's a blind corner. So you're making sure you got traction to turn away from whatever wreck you see as you come up the hill. And I think that's exactly what Brian Provo did, able to avoid that mess. But Brian Provo, I mean, he's up to the 5th position, which is a movement up, but he did lose that position to Samuel Joseph, who's having a fine job out there as well. As we're riding on board with Gardner, looking at the back of Drabick. These two haven't changed all night long, and we are, it looks like, Eddie, about a couple laps away from the halfway point, which I'd imagine for a lot of these drivers is going to mean that pit stop.
Yeah, I think Provo had a great shot, you know, maybe of running these guys down, especially if they got up here and racing. But after that little incident there, I think he's too far back, now 14.2 seconds. So I think right now the question that I have, it's definitely between these two. They seem to be kind of going tick for tack. But the question I have now is can Silvers, you know, he got a bunch of damage. So it's just how bad is it? It looks like he is going to come down pit road right on cue. Ken, way to go. And it's going to come down. We'll see how much damage he's willing to fix. He got squeezed there when Logan kind of came back across his nose. You can see that front end looks like a real goofy smile on that Chevrolet.
Yeah, both the left and right front quarter panels got hit. So he got hit with Threlkeld there on the right-hand side, and then that pushed him into the wall on the left-hand side. So both ends of that car, and then he misses his box on top of that. So I don't know if his crew's going to be able to work with all that damage here before he gets those tire changes. He's going to have to go out there and struggle with that car. That will let guys like Sammy Joseph, who was behind him, and Brian Provo maybe run him down with that damage. You can see he's still on pit lane, trying to get as much of that beat out as possible. And then Burke just pulls in behind him, so Wesley Burke on pit road. But Silvers is away, going to exit and see what he can do with that machine for the rest of the night here.
Yeah, I mean, I think he fixed about 5 or 6 seconds, really. That's not much. So I don't know. He was still running fast lap times. I mean, you can get damage on the front end of these cars. It doesn't affect it that much. It's really just does the toe get knocked out or the tire is not pointing the right direction? You know, that's the most important thing, I think. So as long as the toe is good, you're not really knocked out. You can see he feels like he's able to drive just fine as he goes around. I believe that was a 77 of Tyler Evans going through the grass there. So we'll see what Silvers could do. He's going to try a little undercut here, but he's going to, you know, Patrick Drabick and Garner are going to come down pit road. They're going to be on pit road for 14 seconds. So, he's going to lose another 4 or 5 seconds just from that extra little bit of damage. So I think he's just going to try to salvage a top 5 at this point if you're Silvers. But, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
we got leaders coming down pit road, Jeremy Gardner.
Yeah, Gardner exiting pit lane. Well, you know what Silvers has got that only one other driver's got for this season, right, Eddie?
Got to win.
He's got to win, and that means he's in. So, he's out there. He's focused on the championship right now, and I'm sure he'd want to get the best finish he can here. Patrick Drabick headed to pit lane. So our leader now going to make that pit stop. This is what I'm going to be watching here. I love, pit strategy and pit times here. And whether Gardner was right behind Patrick Drabick, if everybody remembers there when this pit cycle started. So who's going to come out on top? Gardner's going to have a lap fresher tires, but that's going to be on those colder tires. Just curious who's going to win this race off pit road.
Yeah, they were so close. As long as you hit your box good, and it looks like Dravic's going to do that, it's really just the dice roll of how iRacing decides how fast your pit stop is. There's a range of, 13.8 seconds to 14.2 that it'll roll, and you'll get whatever it gives you. And so they're going to drop the jack. He's going to come off the pit road, and here comes Jeremy Garner down into turn 1 now. It's going to be close, Ken.
Yeah, Dravic's got it for sure. Dravic's got the advantage here. Maybe Gardner will catch him by the bus stop. He's got probably a lot more momentum in that race car. But
the difference, Ken, is Gardner's tires are going to get up to tip before Dravic's will. So Dravic's got to go about a lap and a half to kind of get those into optimal temperature. So if I'm Gardner, I'm going after him now. This is my best opportunity if I can get around him.
Well, I agree with you, but at the same time, now Dravic's got the strategy of defending. And road course racing, there is some pretty good defensive moves. Dravic is pretty good on the road course himself. So even though he's got a little bit colder tires, might be able to fend off this hard-charging Gardner. We'll see here as they go into the final couple of corners here, going into the front stretch. I think Gardner's going to hold on to it for now. Gardner's going to take a peek here. This is about his best opportunity on these warm tires. Trying to look to the outside. Now maybe do the undercut here. Swing it down low.
He's
Maybe a little bit of extra grip there. And can he outbrake him going into turn 1? Here's the question. This is where Gardner's probably going to have his best opportunity. It looks like he's going to stay behind right now and just fish that out.
Yeah, runs a little bit wide here. Nervous, as you can see. Kind of had to catch it a little bit. We've seen so many people lose it there. So the battle for the lead, I feel like it's going to go all the way to the end of this one. These guys have been just nose to tail, neck and neck, same lap times. I think this is going to be a great battle to the end of it.
I believe you're right, but right now, yeah, and I was going to call out a new leader too during this pit cycle. Jamie Lipke up there leading, but we'll go back and see exactly what happened with this incident here. Oh, it looks like just hard on the brakes for that 14 car. Chance Taylor going into turn 6 there and loses the rear end and sends it into the wall. Oh, Gardner now taking a look on the outside. They're headed towards turn 6 here, the final couple of corners. Gardner's now on the preferred line on the inside. And
they
touch!
Get together.
They
wreck!
Going around.
They're spinning! Unbelievable! Contact is made, and Garner's going to get away with it.
Wow, what another turn of events here. Gardner's now in the lead of this thing. Unbelievable. So
take a look at this replay.
Yeah, they're going into turn 6 here, and this is where Gardner's got the advantage. He's going to stick it in there. I don't think Dravic expected him to be there that quick. Gardner really stuck it in there, and Gardner just didn't have to, or Dravic didn't have time to react. And those two got together, but I knew what Gardner was thinking. He was thinking, hey, if I can get to the inside on this corner, I'm going to have the outside for the final turn 7, which you talked about earlier in this race. You get a lot of momentum off that corner, and I think that's what Gardner was thinking. And unfortunately, it gathered up Dravic as well. So, but Gardner getting the better of it so far. Dravic now back in the second position. They're going to have to run him back down. Both these guys going to have a little bit of flat spots on their tires after that.
Well, I mean, good news for James Silvers and Brian Provo. It's going to get them a little bit closer. Silvers now 4 seconds back from that. But I love it. I think that's good hard racing. I don't think anybody's at fault there, and they both kind of ate it. So you can't really be mad if you're Patrick Dravic because, I mean, while it was a pretty far dive, it was definitely – he wasn't there. He didn't get a run, but he outbroke him into the corner, and then that's it. You kind of got to give the corner up, and I think Pat was going to hope that maybe Jeremy would back out of it. He didn't do that. So, both those guys kind of took a chance, and, Jeremy threw it in there, got to the left rear quarter, and Pat tried to squeeze him off, and that's what happened. So that's good hard racing in my book. I love it. That's why we love Watkins Glen in these cars.
Yeah, well, that's the last thing any driver in this field wanted to see is Gardner back up front. He's already got three wins on the season, 3 wins in a row, in fact. And if he could pick one up, that's before. Oh, and he gets together with the lap car, the 62 machine, going through
Macedo!
the Dravic now. Oh my goodness!
Unbelievable! Unbelievable! They just gotten away, and Patrick was starting to run him down a little bit. Macedo bounces off that wall just like what happened to Pendleton, and now the battle's back on. Now the question is how much damage. Look at James Silvers back there like, ooh-doo-doo-doo, I'm ready to go.
I'm trying to gather myself up here. There's a little bit of damage there on the right front of Gardner's car there. You can see it go through the final corner here onto the front stretch. But now Gardner back where he's been all night behind that 7 machine of that 07 machine of Patrick Drabick. Is like, my goodness, I finally did all that work. I finally got around that car, and I come up on a lap machine there in the bus stop, and just about wipes out my race, but gives Gardner another chance. You know, one thing about Gardner,
you can see it. Wait a minute. You can see it right there, Ken. That right front is hurt. Luckily, there's a lot of left turns in this track, but as he was going up the S's, he had to come way out of the gas, so he's got big damage to that right front.
I'm wondering if he might have any suspension damage as well.
Look at traffic sideways to the bus stop. Kid, you got to get more excited, dude. This thing is crazy. I know you're kind of a calm.
I was actually watching something else.
You're a calm guy, but you got to jump up here, man. You got to get out of your seat, man. We got some awesome racing going on here, and I can't believe it. I'm out here yelling. I'm going to lose my voice. It's unbelievable what we're seeing out here.
Well, we said it at the top of the broadcast. This was going to be probably a very exciting race. They always have been here since I've been part of Goat Locker here on the road course side. It's just been incredible racing here. And I was going to ask you, Eddie, before you told me I wasn't being excited, I'm curious if Jeremy Gardner has any suspension damage. I don't know if we can go on board and take a look at how he's operating that wheel and see if that wheel's off center. You were talking about how he was pushing up.
Well, watch this. Yeah, watch this left-hand turn. He's going to have to get out of it. Drabick's going to drive away. See, it just had to lift a little bit more than Drabick does, and the difference is about 3 or 4 miles an hour up through the S. Luckily, though, is that it's mostly left turns outside of just a few. So, right turns. Mostly right turns.
Left.
Oh, yeah. So he's going to struggle a little bit. That tire wear will be a little bit worse, especially if the tire, he's having to put more wheel into it. And you can see he loses about 3 or 4 tenths there. So, a little bit of damage to that 57 for sure.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do. But you also got Silvers back there. He's running a damaged machine. He's holding on pretty well. He's able to run down these two guys after those incidents that both those drivers have had. Looks like Drabick is pulling away just a little bit over Gardner. But looking there at Silvers, got Brian Provo closing into this picture. Brian Provo now looking at potentially a podium spot if he can get to the back of Silvers. We only got 14 laps to go. We are really taking them down with no caution flags. These races go by quick.
Yeah, I kind of want to go on board here with Macedo, and let's see if we can find where that incident happened. I think we're a little bit too far back at this point. Let's see if we can find it. I kind of want to see what happened there. Here we go. I think this is where we need to be. Yeah, right here. You can see Jeremy Gardner come through the S's, and Macedo's going to bounce off. There's nothing that Gardner can do there. It's just completely wipes him out.
Well, if you notice there, Macedo, he gets in the grass just a little bit, and I think he wanted to let the leaders by, and he just clipped the grass a little bit, and it sent that car sideways. And, Gardner's probably like, oh, my God, this isn't happening right now. I know this isn't happening right now. And sure enough, well, Gardner, it is. Coming up on some lap traffic right now, Cody Anderson, one of the fastest drivers, headed to pit lane. You can see it there, just went into pit lane. But Drabick out there continuing to lead this thing. Provo is running down. Silvers getting right behind there, almost within a few car lengths there. He's going to have to whip out those gloves and put the wheel down. Speaking of gloves, Glove Station, one of our sponsors here. How about that, Eddie? At Glove Station, they're committed to providing quality gloves, protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering from do-it-yourself projects to work in industrial environments and everything in between. They've got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find protection for your needs. There you have it, Glove Station. And Brian Provo has probably got a nice set of gloves, maybe from Glove Station out there, trying to wield that Mustang around and get around Silvers and maybe take a podium away. And maybe if those two guys up front continue to have issues, maybe even steal a win.
Yeah, Provo last time by was 3 tenths faster than your leader. So he is definitely putting down some lap times, because now he's just under 5 seconds away from the lead. So Provo now with a clean car may be your best shot of running down Patrick Drabick. Still got a lot to overcome here. And Drabick, I don't think, got quite the damage that Garner did. Drabic was just a little squirrely a couple times. So I think his car is still plenty capable of running fast lap times, which he did. Last lap was a 10.3. So he is scooting. So right now, Brian Provo going to put a little pressure here on Silvers for that podium position as we close in on 10 laps to go, Ken. It's flying by.
Yeah, and this has been one of the most exciting races I've seen yet. I've had an absolute blast here, but it ain't over here as we're watching this battle for third place right here. Silvers with a damaged race car. Provo able to keep it out of trouble for the most part, driving through the grass, avoiding an incident early on in this race. Starting to put pressure on Silvers, and you know, Silvers is going to be a little slow here on these straightaways. We'll see what Brian can do as they exit the carousel here, and see if he can get a run and maybe set up maybe one of those outside passes. We've seen Silvers do that early in the race. Maybe Provo can do it here. It doesn't look like he's running him down as much as I thought he could, so that damage doesn't appear to be affecting that Ford machine as much as I might have thought.
He's definitely holding him up a little bit. It's hard to pass. It's so tough to pass at road courses no matter what you're driving, and these are no different. You got to find a spot to make that move, hope that the guy makes a mistake, because they're always going to get the better run off the corner most of the time, and then you have to make that dive. And really, there's only two good passing opportunities in my mind, one being the bus stop, and I think that's probably the worst opportunity, or into turn one, and both of those are very difficult to make a pass. And we saw after the carousel, Jeremy Gardner trying to make a pass in one of the last two corners, but that is such a tough area to make that move. So you can see, I think Provo is definitely faster. Just where do you make that move?
Yeah, and that's why I like the setup for turn 7. That's actually one of my favorite passing zones is turn 7. You mentioned turn 1. That's also a good one, but turn 7 is you can really try to force a mistake here if you're right on the back, and that's what Provo's trying to do here, is trying to force a mistake, maybe get Silvers to overdrive that car. If you can get him to overdrive this corner a little bit, there you go, see him charge it, and then get on the outside there. That's what Provo's trying to do, exactly the mentality. Now they'll try the crossover, see if he can cut underneath, try to get the throttle down. Can't quite get there, so Silver's doing a great job defending that position.
He couldn't get the nose turned down. I don't know if maybe Silvers kind of parked it there in the middle to kind of stop that from happening, but I saw Provo try to turn down, and the front end just kind of stalled out on him as you see Silvers get a little bit loose. That's going to give maybe Provo exactly what he needs. Going to try to get to his left rear, not quite able to do it, but he's all over the back bumper going through the S's. Oh, and then Provo's going to get loose.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
He saved it. There's going to be some damage on that car that maybe it's going to match up with Silvers now, but Provo saves it, but he was pushing hard. He definitely wanted to make that pass right then and there, and unfortunately it kind of bit him in the rear. He's only going to have 9 laps when the leader crosses the start-finish line to try to get this done and try to get back up to Silvers. Meanwhile, we're looking at Drabic right now. Is just, man, he has been up front all night long. Other than during the pit cycles when Jamie Lipke was able to lead a lap, Drabic is pretty much dominated this thing. We've seen Gardner have that issue when he finally got the lead almost a lap later. He gets in an issue with a lap car, but Drabic has just been untouchable almost tonight.
Almost untouchable. Well, he got touched a couple times.
Okay. I knew. I was waiting for it.
Gardner put a lot of pressure on him, but I mean, Pat has done a great job of just weathering the storm and had a couple issues, able to kind of hold on to it, fought him off there for a lap, and then he's going to go side by side with James Kaufman, who fights the leader into the bus stop. That is wild. You don't normally see stuff like that, and Kaufman going to go off track. Scary moment. It always seems like you catch lap traffic in the bus stop. I don't know why that is, but that's always what happens. And but Drabic doing a great job. He made contact with Garner, kept his composure, got back out there. Garner had his issue with Macedo and was able to capitalize. And now without as much damage as the 57 has, Drabic is just kind of cruise control now. So, weird to see him take a little bit of chance there with Kaufman into the bus stop, but he can definitely afford to take it a little bit easy and make sure that he doesn't get himself into trouble.
Yeah, and exactly. You need to mind your P's and Q's here. He's coming up on Tyler Evans, a lap car, getting ready to be put a lap down. He's the 11th place machine. Currently on the lead lap, Drabic is going to try to put him a lap down here. as you said, Eddie, there's no caution, so there's no real point of fighting the leader. You know, if we had cautions out here, I could understand where last car on the lead lap might want to put up a little bit of a fight. But being that there's no cautions, you're not racing anybody, you definitely don't want to be holding up the leader. And you can see right now, Drabic is being really cautious, getting around the 77 machine there, Tyler Evans. They go through the carousel there. Tyler Evans, not really just cutting him any too much slack there, but Drabic's going to get by cleanly, and Evans will fall in behind now.
Yeah, and I think, this is mainly an oval league. I know we got a lot of new road course stuff going on and a lot of, really great road course racing with the sports car series and a lot of drivers who love road course racing. But it's still an oval league, and I think a lot of these guys, race the leader kind of the way ovals do, which is I want to stay on lead lap like you're talking about, racing for every position, no matter who it is. But road course racing is just so different. You said it perfectly. There's just no reason to fight. It's just, move over, lift off the throttle, let the leader go, and y'all keep on going instead of trying to stay in the line. I see that rule kind of thrown out, and I'll be honest, I can't stand to hear people say that, which is just run your line. And when it comes to road course racing, that is not what you do. You don't just run your line and they're faster to get around. It's not always the case. It can cause so much trouble. So it's always better just to kind of move over. We saw a couple drivers do that tonight, doing a really good job of just, hey, going by. And that's the right way of doing it, I think, in road course. And I think there's an etiquette there that, oval drivers just aren't aware of. And I think that's why we see that kind of racing the leader type stuff in road courses from time to time here.
Yeah, there's always a saying, leaders coming up on your faster car, just mind, stay in your lane, run your lane, and let the leader will find his way by. Well, the problem with that theory is a little bit, and that's mostly true, but you end up hurting yourself as well as the leader. You end up slowing both cars down, and both cars might end up losing a position. So the ideal thing to do is to, let's say you got a fast car coming up behind you, is the second that attempt for the pass is being made, you just lift and let that leader go, or whatever the fast car is go, or maybe just move out of the way, and then neither one of you really lose too much time. And that's the ideal situation, and that's what I think most drivers try to do when they're road course racing. But like you said, some oval drivers aren't used to that technique, and you can't blame them if you're only out here maybe once every season you're at a road course. So and a lot of drivers will sit there and say, oh, man, we're going to Watkins Glen, or we're going to Coda, or whatever it is. And I just want to get it over with. Hopefully I can get a clean finish out of it. Those drivers, they might not be up with all the etiquette and stuff like that with the road course.
Well, I got an update here for Brian Provo, who watching here on the V-Speed replay, had an issue here after the bus stop, and we're going to see what happened. It just, oh, man, big damage to the 08 machine. And he has called it quits. Just bounced over those curves, caught the right rear just right, and sent him into the wall. So, man, Eddie, tough night for everybody. Good grief.
Yeah. Eddie, I don't think he called it quits. I think his car called it quits. I think there was no more. That car wasn't going anywhere after that.
He's going to have to get out and run.
And, we've seen incidents with just about everybody out here tonight, including our two leaders, but that brings me back to the point, the top three here, Drabic, Gardner, and Silvers running 1, 2, 3 out here tonight. Even though they've had their issues, they're pretty much where they started. Silvers is up a couple of spots, but these three drivers have had the least amount of issues, I guess you could say, and that's why they find themselves all running for this podium position, But this race is not over. Drabic's going to come by the start-finish line here in another half a lap or so. That's going to have 4 laps to go, so we're winding this thing down. Gardner's going to need some luck. He's going to need Gardner to make one of those mistakes, maybe going up over the curb or getting into some lap traffic. If he's going to have a chance, he's dealing with that damage. He's doing a fine job, though. He's actually ran Drabic down a couple of tenths here over the last couple of laps. He was a little over 2 seconds. He's only 1.8 back now, so maybe Gardner was trying to save something, nursing that damaged car around. You can see he just gains another tenth there coming down the straightaway.
Yeah, it was half a second faster last lap, and this time just a little bit slower on this lap. But there's still something there. If you're Gardner, you got to keep putting the pressure on. You can't let Drabic kind of get where he's calm and just going to cruise to victory. You got to keep putting that pressure on. And somebody we need to talk about, a couple folks we need to talk about. Levi McCarty is up 9, started 14th. been able to keep it all together. We saw him run off track one time, but obviously no big damage to that 51 machine. So Wesley Burke is starting to run him down just a little bit with 4 laps to go, but if he can hold on, he'll have a nice little top 5 here. And then go back a couple more positions. You got Jamie Lipke, somebody that I mentioned early part of this race, is somebody who started in the 15th position, now up to 7th. So, and then right behind him, somebody else I mentioned, just to kind of toot my own horn, Daniel Cunningham, up in that 8th position. So those 3 drivers moving forward, not having any big mistakes, and they're sort of they're getting a little bit of dividends out of that.
Well, since you went that far back, why don't we talk about the last driver on the lead lap there, this Chance Taylor in the 14 car. We seen him have an issue early in the race. You can see the damage on that 14 car. But Chance Taylor out there currently holding on to the lead lap there in 9th place. Last car on the lead lap, as I mentioned. Having about the best night that you can have. He started in the 11th position, up a couple spots. So after all the problems he's had tonight to finish 9th, I'm sure as long as he can keep it there, he's kind of running off track at the moment. As long as he can keep it there, he'll have a solid night, I think, from his perspective.
I thought he was going to Cavender's trying to hit the boot, as he was kind of going off there where you would go down to the boot section of Watkins Glen. But that's scary. You don't want to get out to the outside of that white line in the carousel, because, boy, the car will just kind of fling off the track. Yeah,
you
able
lose
to hang
all
on to
your
it.
banking there. It gets all flat there, Eddie, and there's just nowhere to go.
Well, I mean, just a great race out of Patrick Dravick. It's been such a fun one. I feel like I got a third wave of caffeine today. Normally, I've had my fill by about 3 o'clock of my caffeine, and this has been a great shot watching this race. Really exciting. The Cruisin Classic Next Gen Series is one of the most exciting series in Goat Locker for sure. The talent's unbelievable, and the racing that they put on is just wild. And tonight's been no different. We're actually kind of on the come down here, Ken, as everybody's sort of spread out at the moment. Yeah. I think everybody's just kind of post-coital a little bit.
I just took a sip off my cold one because I was like, I finally get to relax. Well, speaking of not relaxing, though, Patrick Dravick is a lap and a half away from winning this thing right now. So what he needs to do is just focus on hitting his marks. Knows Gardner's back there to steal it if he can, if Dravick makes a mistake, and that's really what Gardner's going to need at this point. So, I'm watching Dravick go over those curbs, and I'm sure this makes him nervous every time he pops over those curbs after that early race incident, making sure he's laying that throttle down evenly, even pressure, that egg under the throttle pedal. But we are going to come by for the next time for the Glove Station white flag lap here. And Gardner there, the white flag is out. You can see the flag man waving. And Gardner right now has got one more lap to try to get this thing done.
Well, I'll tell you who gets it done is Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Ken. They are a huge partner. They are a major, major player in Goat Locker. Goat Locker's mission is to support veterans and first responders, and the way they do that is through diversion therapy, just plain old fun, which is gifting sim rigs to veterans who deserve it, who go through the application process, and it's all provided by the grant of Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. So cannot say enough about what INVA does for Goat Locker. We're so happy to have them a part of this mission and journey, and it's just been amazing. And right now, the Save 22 car, Patrick Dravick, just a few turns away as he continues to put a gap here on Jeremy Gardner. I think he's going to seal this deal.
Yet 2 more turns here. Turn 6, 1 more turn. Dravick started on the pole. We haven't seen any other race winners other than Gardner and Silvers, but Patrick Dravick now going to put this thing out in front, going to claim his first race win of the season there. So hats off to Patrick Dravick in the Save 22 machine. Congratulations to that driver. Gardner following it up with a second place in that damaged machine there. 4 seconds off Dravick by the end of that thing.
Woo! I need a breather after that one. Unbelievable race. Can't wait to talk to them. I'm curious if it's all love and sunshine right now, Ken. You just never know. So I'm excited to see, kind of hear from these drivers and what they thought about how the racing went. Of course, Jeremy probably, I would imagine if you get into it with your competition, that's okay. But when you get into it with a lap car, it's about the most frustrating thing in the world. So I can imagine he is not too thrilled, so we'll see what he says about that. But unbelievable race out of the 07 machine.
Yeah, and he did a great job. He's, like I said, he's got 3 wins on the season already. I'm sure he would have liked to grab another one. And Gardner's really strong on the road courses, but he had nothing for. Well, he did have something for Dravik until all the fine racing we've seen here tonight. But I'll tell you what, Dravik is going to burn it down here on the front stretch. Going to celebrate this first win of the season and lock himself into a playoff bid. You can see the Save 22 machine smoking him down. And what an exciting race there, Eddie. And man, I couldn't ask for a better Watkins Glen race tonight. And I can't wait to talk to these guys, as you said, the top 3. But you know what? We're going to do that. We're going to go over the unofficial results and talk to these drivers probably right after we take a commercial break here.
Superior quality.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Well, we are back. The Crusin Classics Next Gen Series, and man, what a fantastic race. And let's see where everybody ended up here tonight. Dravik, Garner, Silver's your top 3 up there all night, but a wild and crazy finish, a wild and crazy race. Not really a finish, but incredible racing back to front. Samuel Yosa comes away with a great finish in 4th, and Levi McCarty holds on to that 5th place finish. Wesley Burke in 6th, Jamie Lipke in 7th, Daniel Cunningham in 8th, Chance Taylor in 9th, and James Kaufman in 10th.
Well, in the 11th position, you have Michael Jones. He didn't think too highly of himself earlier today. He was mentioning he might get a DNF, but does a solid job, finishes in 11th. Tyler Evans there finishes P12. Cody Anderson, one of the faster drivers out there, finishes with a disappointing 13th place. Jacob Ellingson, another driver out there with troubles in the S's, finishes 14th. Barrett Morton finishes 15th. Jason Taylor 16th. Brian Provo 17th. Bobby Bender will finish 18th. Logan Threlkelt with a disappointing night there in 19th. And Ashton Asaro Nolan will finish 20th.
Ryan Pendleton in 21st. Douglas Macedo in 22nd. Charles Abert in 23rd. Chuck Phelps in 24th. Corinne Smith in 25th. What do you say we talk to our winner here tonight and bring him up into the booth? Just incredible, incredible race. And we're going to bring him up here right now. Patrick Dravik, this Eddie and Ken at the booth, and he's gone, and now he's back. How we doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm fantastic. I'm all jazzed up after that race because that was a lot of fun to watch. Y'all put on a great show. You and Garner kind of went toe-to-toe tonight. You made contact. You did a little bit of synchronized spinning down in 7, and you came out with it, on top after some contact with Macedo that Garner had. So you were able to get back out front. But, yeah, let's get to a question. How about that? I'm telling you about the race. You were there. But
I
talk to
was.
me about the first part of that race. You wanted to get away and kind of get away from the miss, which you did, able to avoid that. Then what was your thoughts about the race, how it went early part?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't expect to be. It's been a while since I run one at a road course, and I damn sure didn't think I'd be doing it here in the Cup car against guys like Gardner and, and Cody Anderson was bad fast tonight. James Silvers, there were a bunch of dudes that were just bad fast, but I was able to get out in front, and it just seemed like me and Gardner kind of got away, and he kept me honest the entire time. He'd have a good lap, I'd have kind of a so-so, and then I'd pull away from him. And we just kind of swap back and forth, and then that cycle of green flag stops, got back out in front of him. And then, yeah, a little chaos ensued, but got the car back up front and brought this save 2207 back home with the win here tonight.
Well, I mean, tell me your thoughts when y'all made contact. What was your perspective of that one as you're going down to the corner? He kind of dove it in there,
Yeah.
but then you kind of squeezed him. Kind of talk me through that.
Yeah, when he did that, I was like, there's no way he's making that corner. I mean, there's just no way he's making the corner. And I was talking to him afterwards, and he rear started the slide a little bit for him, and I've got to make the corner still. But luckily enough, man, we did a little synchronized spinning. Both of us got it righted back out, and off we went. And I thought, he had about a second and a half on me or whatever, that I could probably track him back down, but it looked like a lap car helped me out with that situation, and the rest was over from that point.
Yeah, I mean, you were able to get around him, and he had a little bit of damage. So then it's just maintaining, and you did a great job, man. Super fast tonight. That '07 machine looked really good. So congratulations on the win at Watkins Glen. And as always, well, who do you got to thank?
Yeah, well, a huge shout out to Lincoln Tech. Had a wonderful dinner with a bunch of them last night. I mean, some huge announcements coming from them, different campuses across the United States. Can't wait to watch this relationship grow. It is going to be super, super exciting. So, huge shout out to Lincoln Tech. Save 22, obviously, they're on the side of my car. Glad to finally park this thing in victory lane and get them a win and get this new paint scheme a win. It looked really, really good. Of course, Cruising Classics and Nasties, the awesome partners we have there in Columbus, Ohio, the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, InVets, and above the yellow line, and of course, you guys up in the broadcast booth. It's always fun. Enjoy it, and you guys do an outstanding job. So appreciate everything you do. And man, this one feels really, really good tonight.
All right, well, there you have it. Your winner tonight, Patrick Drabick, takes the win here at Watkins Glen. And, I think Ken Huber is caught up with Jeremy Garner.
Jeremy Gardner, Ken Huber in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
So, what a race you guys put on tonight. Basically, the first half of the race, you were trailing Drabick, and it looks like you guys were just in each other's tire tracks all night long, waiting for Drabick to make a mistake. But talk about that first incident going there into turn six. You guys, as Eddie likes to put it, you guys did a little bit of synchronized swimming there. Talk about what happened there.
Typical Dravitt Gardner fashion, tradition, whatever you want to call it. I get into him, he gets into me. But that was honestly all my fault. I literally called it out as soon as I did it. Said I was an idiot. Uh, I felt like I was better through that turn than him all night, and I thought I was going to have a better run than that. And I kind of just goofed up and made a stupid mistake and slid the rear tires. It felt like going in, and the rest was history.
Yeah, well, it wasn't history. I think what made it history is later in the race, when you finally got the lead back, you did your pit stop, and so you're on fresh tires, or a little bit warmer tires than Drabick because he makes his pit stop one lap later. And so for the next couple of laps or so, me and Eddie were watching you really hammer that car down and trying to get around Drabick. Were you thinking that you needed to get around him while those tires were warmed up?
Yeah, I figured that's kind of the reason I pitted a little bit early and try to get an advantage on him. But he ended up coming out, I think, about a second on me. But I figured it would work. After a little incident, I ended up getting out to the front and got into a lap car, and ultimately pretty much ended my night from trying to get a win. I had really bad right front damage, so that thing was plowing tight through the S's, through the bus stop, everything. So happy to take a P2. Anytime you can get a podium, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, unfortunate incident with that lap car. We were all there to watch it live here on V Speed. So, unfortunately, we capture all those unfortunate events that happened there on the track for you. But yeah, heck of a job getting it up there or keeping it in that second position. Who do you have to thank here tonight for getting you there?
First off, like I told Pat, I've already apologized to him. I'll apologize to him again. Jam Printing Promotions, V Speed, y'all guys up in the booth. Appreciate y'all. Can't wait to go back and watch it. Alexander PCs, Cruising Classics, GTR Simulators for coming on board. Appreciate them guys. My guys, Premier Racing Setups, Cruising Classics and Nasties, and everybody on the new team I got going on at Prestige Performance.
All right. Well, there you have it. That was second place finisher there, Jeremy Gardner. What an exciting race. I think you're up with our third place there finisher there, Eddie.
Yeah, James Silvers. Well, man, you had a fantastic race. You kind of started off, kind of backed off a little bit, and then started running those guys down there about 10 laps into this thing, and then just kind of got caught up in an issue. But talk a little bit about your race tonight. How'd it go for you?
Well, tonight's race was actually pretty smooth. I mean, based on the road course, and I came in and had some good practice, and we felt the car out, and we was checking the brake bias and the master cylinders and got everything dialed in for me tonight. And I mean, I knew I was going to be somewhat fast, but I didn't expect to be that fast towards the end of that run, because like my crew chief was telling me, he said, "Man," he said, "you're running about 2 or 3 tenths a lap faster each lap." And I'm like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He just said, "Just keep doing what you're doing." And I was being smooth and being patient, and I was trying to be very patient around Logan. I mean, me and him's good buddies, and I wasn't going to try to race him too hard and just try to pass him when I caught him. And I guess we came out of turn one, he got a little bit loose and then tried to overcorrect it and slammed us in the wall. But I mean, it's all right. It's a part of racing. I mean, I know my car was a little bit damaged after that, and I mean, it took me a couple laps to figure out where the car was really bad at, and the carousel and up to the S's, it was about plowing tide. It's like driving a boat. But I mean, I could just settle down and kept my focus and brought her home in third place.
Yeah, I mean, a hectic race all around, and yeah, congratulations on coming back to that third place, kind of salvaging what could have been way worse after that incident. So great job there. So congratulations on that third place finish, man. Who do you got to thank tonight?
Got to thank y'all, Eddie and Ken, for putting on a great broadcast there at V-Speed. V-Speed's an awesome broadcast company. If you ain't never heard of them, check them out. Like to shout out all the sponsors for GLR, iRacing, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, Harpoon Designs, Zach Graphics, and Cruising Classics for being the premier sponsor of the Cup Series. And then the Cornerstone sponsors. And I got to thank my crew chief, Alex Penn, for being here, and Tyler Evans and Cody Anderson. Aerial Professionals of WNC, Gigi's Restaurant in Waynesville, North Carolina, Jake's Junk Solutions, Mountain View Detailing, Mount Silver Supply Company, Waynesville Tire, and White Squirrel Home Services.
Well, all right, there you have it. James Silvers, your third place finisher. And, well, Ken, man, I don't know. I need a nap after that one, so I think I'm going to go to bed because that was crazy. So, an unbelievable race here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, the Cruising Classics Next Gen Series definitely put on a show here tonight. What a change of events. You know, just the fact that those top three guys held on with everything that happened on the track was just quite impressive. And, you know, we're going to another impressive track, especially for road course racers as well. Next week, we're headed to Pocono. And so, you know, just like Watkins Glen, Pocono is one of those tracks. It's one of my favorites. I love watching races there.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So can't wait to see it. Hopefully I'm not talking. We have Jake back and bringing that good that he brings to the broadcast. We definitely have been missing him the last couple days. So can't wait to see what Pocono has in store, which I think we're actually we're off next week. So it'll be in 2 weeks. So my bad. Can't wait to kind of have an off week, I guess. But we'll be back for Pocono. That'll be a lot of fun. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you want to, like and subscribe. If you want to leave a little comment, let us know how we're doing, what we can do better. We'll definitely take it. Bradley Cooper, Adam Baker, and everybody, Morgan Cook, Logan Threlkeld, everybody over at V-Speed. Just an incredible job that everybody does here. I want to thank Patrick Dravick and Jamie Barkers for starting this whole mess and letting me be a part of it. And Ken, it's so good to be in a booth with you, calling these races. So much fun. You've been a hell of a announcer that we've had the last couple seasons. I hope we get to spend a little bit more time together. We sure appreciate you. But thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Pocono is going to be a lot of fun. Be there or be square or triangle.